All right, let's see if they rip me off. So I was looking for something that was a bit easy to record with. Currently, I was just recording with my phone, but I wanted something that I could easily mount on a tripod and forget about and not worry about it. So I decided to order a kit. If you'll want, I can tell you what it is, but I mean, there's very few people watching at the time, and this is pretty existing stuff. So what I did get was an Alpha A6300. So this purports to be new. I'm pretty excited. The main things that I was looking for in a camera were 4K. I'll be probably outputting videos in 1080p, but 4K allows me to dynamically, reframe the shot one way or another. And that does it at 30 frames a second, or I could do 1080p at 120 frames a second. So I could get some real nice slow-mo if I wanted here. So everything looks to be boxed up as it should here. Part of the reason I'm recording this isn't just to show you guys the cool new crap I have, but also to show the condition as I receive the box, in case I need to submit a claim. So here it is, just to kind of make sure that I'm in frame here. So it looks like that it's already has the standard kit lens already installed, and that it is in fact in new and good condition. So another couple things is that this has a lot of autofocus. It has apparently a great reviews for it. So there we have power in, micro HDMI, and then mic in on that side. Unfortunately, the SD card is in the same dang slot as the battery, which is going to be really annoying if I ever want to change SD cards. I do have 128 gig that was rated for 90 megabytes per second, which is what you need on these phones. These cameras. This apparently requires faster read and write speed to the SD card in order to prevent it from overheating, because the amount of processing that has to do in a body this small for recording 4K at 30 frames a second at 100 megabit, I believe, is the data rate for the 4K video that this thing can shoot. It requires a lot of post-processing and then to shove it on the SD card. So if you have a slower SD card, there's more content that stays in the buffer, and that apparently causes more heat to come out, and also can decrease battery life. But some of the other cool bits about this phone is that it is Wi-Fi and NFC compatible, so I'll be able to actually control it from my phone that I'm using to shoot this video right now, as well as share pictures and do that straight from my phone through the local Wi-Fi. This does not have Bluetooth built in, which is unfortunate. Kind of the other disappointment that I had was that it's a tilting screen and not a fully articulating a flip out screen that I could see what I'm recording on the fly. Instead, I'm going to use one of my monitor collections and use that as a permanent monitor. It'll be pretty big and beefy and require a permanent setup, but it should work pretty well. But just looking it over, making sure everything articulates right. I'm a super noob when it comes to using cameras. I'll probably be fiddling around with it for a while, but I just kind of wanted to talk about this. I plan on probably keeping this for a long time. I've always wanted a nice camera, but never had a good reason for it. But now I really enjoy making videos here, and wanted to see how it would work. And I have a friend who's really into photography. Shout out to you, you know who you are, who kind of got me pretty interested in it, because he came to our house, did a photo shoot for our family, and I really like the picture quality that came out. So I have a lot of projects that, it'd be nice to have a good picture, put good picture quality for it, and that's what we're going to do. So here it looks like we have a charger for it and a battery. I'm pretty sure that this camera actually allows you to charge it on the fly. So I'll be actually able to go to this panel and have all three of these things plugged in, so I won't have to worry about recharging the batteries on stable shoots. The kit that I purchased also comes with extra batteries, which we'll kind of go through here. So in the box here we have micro USB. It's a shame they didn't update to see, right? And then, so the charger here, USB charger, 1.5 amps at 5 volts, so a decent charger. So it'll be, I'll just have to make sure to use my good chargers when I do it. And then here is one of the batteries. This kit came with a couple extras, so that's kind of nice. And one of the reasons why I bought a kit, I didn't want to have to think about buying it piecemeal, so I went for something that had some lenses that intrigued me. I'm definitely not an expert on any of that, but I wanted to get a starter kit and start to kind of explore shots and what that could do for. Goodness gracious, I really don't know what I'm doing when it comes to viewfinders here. So let's fire it up, see what happens. So you can definitely tell that I've not really used one of these things before, but apparently that shows on, so hopefully it's firing up sometime. Did it hit the button? Something else that's kind of intriguing about this that I'll have to work on is that these are capable of recording in Sony's native S-Log2 and S-Log3 formats, and the editor that I currently use right now, it was Sony made. It's Vegas, and so I'll be able to color correct if I ever need to. Because one of the things that I noticed is that this video in this lighting here looks pretty orangish when it's output, and I'd like to get something that's a little better here. So I can't. Probably have to charge it ahead of time. The battery doesn't look like the battery is alive, but picture some of that glass, some of that beautiful, beautiful glass. So I really can't wait to kind of explore what this thing's about and have some better videos. But anyways, I'll put that cap back on and keep going through the case here. Strap. Nothing else in this box. Moving on here. So a whole bunch of things. So here's lenses and accessories. So this is a big thing that I want to learn, is how the heck this whole group of things really makes a difference. So apparently lenses are a big thing. So here's the lenses that came, or not lenses, the SD cards that came with it here. And that's basically what we're looking for, is that XC1 to make sure that it can write to it. Another one here, 128, and then I have another 128 by itself on the way, so I should have plenty of storage for whatever I decide to do. And then it also comes with this booklet here for a whole bunch of different programs to help edit stuff, I guess. We'll see what that does, but I'm not good at that. So here's some close-up macro lenses. I don't know what these do. We'll find out. We'll see what these do. We'll see what these do. Here's some filters for, it says UV, CPL, circular polarizer filter, fluorescent filter, and a filter wallet. Cool. So apparently it's for outdoors and some other stuff. So it also came with a lens kit here, and comes with all the accessories for cleaning the lenses here, which is important, just to make sure it's not garbage. You could probably get a far better kit by purchasing a special, but I don't know anything other than the research that I did on the camera body itself, and then some of the lenses that this particular kit came with. So that's what I was really shooting for in my first round, is to get something that could basically work all the time and be something good to build off of. And this camera was highly recommended. and seemed to be a good shooter to build both photos, which I love to get into nice photography and get some good pictures of the kids growing up, especially after that photographer. But as well. And then here is the carrying case. Kind of hoping that it was a fanny pack. That'd be really fun. What it looks like. A case and accessory kit. Comes with a bunch of crud on the inside that I can use to bring around if I wanted to shoot outside. As you watch me struggle with how to open the container here. But on the inside, it looks like more of the same junk. A little spider tripod. I already have a variety of different mounts and stuff like that, just for nice beforehand, but extra stuff. Memory case card. Some cleaning things. Aha! USB to SD card adapter. And anything else in here? Just room for random junk, whatever I decide I need. So that'll be nice, just to haul the camera around safely. And I'm kind of a klutz, so it'd be nice. It's nice to have some sort of thing that captures it and keeps it safe. As I hit the thing, and then another lens here. So I guess another reason, I have that photographer friend. He really recommended the Canon lens library, particularly the EF. This camera is fully compatible. So all the features work: the autofocus, the zoom, the stabilizers. It can infinitely focus. Everything with the EF by just purchasing a simple $100 mount that will adapt it from out there. So it adds a little bit of weight, so it's not going to be like natively compatible, but I'd have access to a much bigger library that could be have a very robust used market, which is important to me. I don't want to spend $1 million on something for brand new if I can get it used. So yeah, that's part's nice. And then so here's a much bigger lens that I know nothing about, and we'll have to learn here. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Again, I know nothing about. But God bless. It's just so shiny. I don't even know what to do with myself. I feel like a proper nerd. And then it comes with a shroud that goes around the outside. I guess. Yeah, probably goes like that just to keep extra light from bouncing in. So that is everything that comes with it. So, yep, it's my new camera. Probably having a video come out in the next, I don't know, a couple weeks of finally of installing one of these guys. So one of the reasons that I got this camera was that I could take better videos just in general. So here we have a side-by-side comparison of my relatively nice smartphone camera here, but on top of that, on the right hand side we have the actual camera. So both of these are shot in 4K 30 frames a second. So my smartphone is able to do 4K at 30, or it can do a 1080p image at 60 frames a second, which is honestly pretty nice. It enables good slow-mo or just general fluid motion, because that's a really important thing. But the Alpha 6300 can do 1080p at 120 frames a second, so that allows me to really slow down everything that I would like to do in case I would want to show something vibrating. In addition, the Sony Alpha 6300 has something that I really like, and that is super sampling. So what it does is it boils down a 6K image, so the native resolution is 6,000 by 4,000. It's a 3:2 ratio, and it boils that down to the 4K or 1080p screen we have here. So what that means is that there's more information per pixel, even though it's still the same 4K resolution. Whereas the smartphone camera is stretching to get there, and it uses all the information that it can get to its sensor, on top of just having a much larger sensor area on the Alpha 6300 to begin with. Thanks for watching. If you like this or have any questions about the camera, I'm not the most knowledgeable person, but I'd be more than willing to help. And as always, hasta la bye-bye. Thanks for watching.